Alright, it's that time again, everybody.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
My name is Brad.
And I am Blair.
And we are here to pump you up with Adam and Elea of Move Think
Yeah.
Smile.
It's happening today, folks. We are here to show you how to create a badass premium e-course with our
Special guest.
special guest, yeah.
Who
Adam,
climbed to launch
Elea
Summit.
of
Smile.
movethink.com.
Yeah.
And I'm super stoked to chat with them. They've had a lot of success and a lot of fun. If you haven't checked out their website yet, we're going to let you link into that.
We've got a bunch of links here, and we're going to update you on a few things that happened for us in the last week. We had a super productive week.
But we'll get into that after this.
I think you need to sign up for their course right away, Blair.
What are you talking about?
I hope bicep curls are one of the modules.
Yeah, maybe. We'll find out, right? We'll chat about that afterwards.
Actually, what's really exciting is on the topic of this today, Blair and I are both getting more into our fitness. I just met a personal trainer and a physiotherapist who worked with like the Vancouver Canucks for 4 years, and he works with professional athletes, and he just moved to Salt Spring Island, and I was hitting golf balls beside him on the driving range the other day, and him and I hit it off. I'm like, oh, what do you do? And he's into what we're doing. I'm into what he's doing, so we're probably going to do some tradesies, and I'm gonna get beefed up so I hit that golf ball 20 yards further.
Yeah, so when we sport off these workout clothes again, that's why we decided to wear our workout clothes to get into the mode of fitness today, because that's what Adam and Elea are all about. Man, I had so much fun watching their course come to life.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they were enjoying the spirit of the great eCourse adventure. Yeah. And really bringing to heart, like, it's pretty rad what they were able to create. It was like watching our stuff, but all in fitness land. Yeah. And I'm stoked just to keep watching those guys do what they're doing.
It's so cool. I feel like a proud uncle. You know, it's kind of like we gave birth to this great eCourse adventure thing, and that little baby's gone off into the world and started to inspire other people to.
Would that make you more like a grandfather?
I guess I'm like a grandfather. Well, I don't know. It would be our baby, like
and it had a baby.
It sort of had a baby.
Kinda.
It influenced a baby. It's like a god uncle.
So when you get together with a lady friend and you influence a baby.
When we have a baby, so we've got Soren, and now imagine Soren went out into the world.
Baby?
Went out.
Yeah, but we don't have to go there.
So today. Anyways, we feel really proud of what they've accomplished, and we're going to get to run through
get carried away with
some of their course and more importantly, their journey to the top of Launch Summit, because creating e-courses the way we create e-courses, it's not like you just kind of come up with some ideas, you make some PowerPoints, you make a sales page, and you sell it. It's a long, arduous journey of being creative and really putting the student first, that you're not just like, I know this stuff, I'm going to create some, a library of my stuff and put it out there. It's kind of like you really put some thought into it, and you try and put the student experience first so that they really get the results that they're signing up for, which is uncommon for some reason in the e-learning industry.
Right.
And that's what our whole business is about, is doing that.
Do.
That's why you should go to thegreatecourseadventure.com and sign up for a free trial.
14 days. So
the last week we had some.
What happened?
We had some successes. Chris Gilmore, one of our eCourse adventurers, we are partnering with him on his Survive the Storm course. And Chris, if you're here with us right now, hello, sir. Actually, I know he's not, because he's actually shooting his version or his part. But last week we did like a big shout out to our local Islanders. Doing auditions, and we created this little audition thing for people to sign up to be the newscaster for this course. We got about 10 people auditioning for it, and awesome enough, our new assistant Paige ended up getting the deal. She did an amazing job. So we shot our first, we're launching the first module as a free thing, which will channel people into the paid course, which we'll be producing come late September and October. and going live in November. But we got the first module shot, and Chris is shooting his first module. And basically, Survive the Storm is going to be a 7-day course that takes people through a life-like experience of preparing for one of these superstorms that could potentially hit your area. And basically, he takes you from the pre-storm preparations to going through the eye of the storm and what to do to what happens after the storm is over and you're disconnected from your family and there's no water and no power. What do you do? And so he's going to help you survive that storm so that if one should ever hit your area, you will be a community leader rather than a victim to circumstances. So
totally,
it's really exciting.
And yeah, as we chatted with him about how we actually market it and all that, it's like the idea of a big superstorm coming could also be for people living in the north for ice storms, or even right here in British Columbia right now with all the wildfires.
600 fires. It's super smoky.
It's really
out there
smoky
right now.
outside right now. It's kind of like a slow apocalyptic sort of environment. It's just
bright
slowly
red sunshine.
So it's really understanding how to, when shit hits the fan, are you going to be prepared? Are you going to be able to actually know where your family is if you were at work and the main, all communication goes down?
Yeah. Do you have a plan to reconnect?
So working with him has really opened my eyes and realize, oh, I don't. Okay. So.
And the course for us, this is an exciting bridge for us because we've mostly been making courses for course creators on building better courses and the green screen, and now we're doing Workbook Heroes. So to be producing a course that is about like real life skills other than like business skills, it's really fun to be applying the whole theme idea to it and building this in collaboration with a teacher who's so gifted and phenomenal. I think we're creating something really special here.
Yeah, and that's what I love about what we're doing is that we're able to, with the technology that we've learned and creating the platform, to be able to work with these other people who, they don't necessarily excel in the broadcasting like we do in media. And we've been up to all of these years, and it's for good reason because they're becoming a professional doing their thing.
Totally.
So I'm just stoked about these teachers getting together with like Chris, and that's just the beginning.
Yeah, definitely just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we began our partnership with Podia. So Podia provides the software that eCourse creators can upload your courses to. So we have Green Screen Magic and the Art of eCourse Creation up on Podia now. We just finished that last week, and we'll be providing Podia people with some workshops coming up here and building that partnership. We're really, because there's not one course platform that fits all, we're building relationships with these really amazing people and companies that are providing the software for all of you out there so that we can help you figure out what your needs are, what your budget are, and then direct you to the best software based on what you're wanting to do. And Podia is our newest partnership, so we'll be interviewing the founders of Podia pretty soon here, which will be really exciting. We've got a meeting with them tomorrow to propel things forward. And what else?
What else happened?
Oh, we did our outdoor meeting. So one of the things that we are in our company of 3 now, to develop this culture around like lifestyle and adventure is we're doing at least a half day every week out in nature for our work day. And so last week, because Mighty Networks, I just talked to the CEO of Mighty Networks right before our show today, they're not going to have badges available quite yet when we go live in September. And so we were like, well, let's put on our thinking caps right here. Here's my thinking cap. And let's come up with some ideas on how we can gamify the platform without badges, because badges are not gamification. Currency and points are not gamification. Gamification is inspiring people to take real world action to create real world results. And so
how do we create engagement without these go-tos that our industry uses all the time?
Yeah. So we're really excited. We've got some things up our sleeve that we're not going to get into here. When the platform goes live, that'll be your opportunity to experience some new experiments in gamification. And we're pretty pumped on that. It's going to be very, very cool. And there will be real prizes and real cash prizes that we're going to be giving away for challenges. We'll be doing monthly and weekly challenges, and we're going to be giving some awesome stuff away to inspire you to grow your skills and take action.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good brainstorm, and it was a nice hike. Yeah, cash. You're going to win cash. None of this like bajillion. You earn the monies.
Yeah. So is that like Canadian cash?
To be determined.
Cash?
It'd probably be U.S. because
Euros?
Most of y'all out there are Americans.
Australian dollars.
And if you send an American Canadian cash, I know this from like paying out Andy over the years that, you know, he gets this Canadian dollars like, what's this? Where's the rest? So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just part of living in Canada.
Yeah, totally.
It happens.
Yeah.
Unless we start making money in the States, and then it's glorious.
Well, we are. That's what.
It's glorious.
Yeah, because our shopping cart makes us pay in U.S., so that's what we get paid in. So we're actually high roller shop here in Canada.
Good. Yeah.
Totally. And what else do we do? So we were going through the analytics as we're redoing the Great eCourse Adventure. We started to look at our numbers, and we were looking at engagement rates based on video views all the way through the Great eCourse Adventure, so we could kind of look at the drop-off points of where people would stop watching and then like where they would start watching again. And our base camp videos, like the first 7 lessons of the Great eCourse Adventure, were terrible. Absolutely terrible. And those were like the preparations of helping you get your journal set up, your adventure map, introducing you to the community, setting up your buddies. So,
well, that was our first kind of almost like the pilot to the Great eCourse Adventure. Totally. That was the first time we got together to record. So Brad and Andy, they had the material, but it wasn't scripted like our later lessons were. It was just off the cuff. They were way over time. You know, they were like 15, 20 minutes long. And we just wanted people to get to the point, because we know when you're getting onto the mountain, you're excited. You just want to start building your e-course, and then you have like a couple hours worth of video to have to go through. At least it feels like that.
Yeah. Wasn't quite that bad.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
That's the point.
That's the point. So that's where we looked at that, and we're going to consolidate it all.
Yeah. So we're creating this one onboarding video that'll be probably 3 minutes when it's all said and done. And then our base camp is basically just going to be one page. It'll just be like one onboarding page where there'll be a few different videos that you can watch, like a tour of the platform, so you can learn all of the features that are available to you. How to link up with your buddies and to form little tribes with each other or mastermind groups, and how to create your adventure log, like your progress log that you'll keep a tally of as you're building your courses or as you're going through other people's courses, because you're going to also have an adventure log for every course you go through. So we're excited. I worked on that all day yesterday, and it's really coming along. And I worked on the script for that opening Basecamp video and had a lot of fun with that. It feels really good, because then we're just going to shoot you once you go through that onboarding. It'll take you very little time, and you just shoot up to Reflection Pond, and you're in for like a super hilarious and inspiring surprise. That kind of like is the opening of our adventure theme, where you really get into it.
Totally. It's an evolution. And I think for all of you creating your courses, just to remember when you're creating, if this is your first course, that what you're creating now will eventually want to evolve. Yeah. And it's just a natural process that we're watching ourselves over and over again. And like, we've been wanting to recreate the Great eCourse Adventure since we launched it, because by the time we finished it, we were like, oh, we could have done this better. And you just have to let that be until it's time. Yeah. And it just reminds me of how important it is for you just to create what you've got with what you've got. Yeah. Now, get it out there, because the importance of people to see that will influence how the direction of your ship, so to speak. Totally. You never know who's going to see that. And I've been watching some of our student stuff on the mountain and going like, wow, that's awesome. Like, I could really, if I was as a media producer, get on board with their program, what we could create. But I can visualize what they're trying to do because they have it now and can take it to that next level, right?
And that's why we work so well together, because I come up with these ideas. I create a really like rough version of it. And then Blair's like, oh yeah, I see what you're trying to do. Let's actually do it now. Yeah. But those prototypes are so important, and you don't need, I think this is the thing, is like, people want to charge this premium price tag because that's what online marketers are telling us to do, but they're not quite at the level of production quality that could allow for that premium offering. So instead, just like be a humble student and like create a great product with an awesome process at the production value that you can do right now based on your resources and your abilities, and charge that at the price that you feel really good about receiving, that you think your audience would pay.
It still supports you and allows you to grow.
And then just constantly upgrade. And it has been kind of painful. We're in a better flow now, but going back through something we created 2.5 years ago and upgrading it has been a bit of a painful process because we're just like, oh, we want to go make the new thing, but we really do, like, this is a flagship part of the company, and so we really do have to make it better if we're for this relaunch that we're gonna have coming up.
One step at a time, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually really curious to see how Adam and Elea actually work together, So let's bring them on.
Let's bring them on.
Hello, Adam, Elea, are you guys there?
Yes.
We are here.
Here we are.
Hello.
Nice.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. Nice.
Thank
I thought you
you.
guys would be decked out in your workout gear with us
Elea,
today.
you're making us look like shabs on our own show. Oh yeah, but she's got the muscles to prove it.
Yeah.
Just for the record, Move, Think, Smile is not about fitness.
Ooh,
Well,
nice.
let's get into it.
Yeah.
What is the premise of Move, Think, Smile? Let's dig into
All right.
that.
Are you ready for the elevator pitch? We've been working on this one for a while.
Yeah.
Nice. Here we go. I'll do the full screen. Ooh, do tell.
Okay. We help professionals on the brink of burnout eliminate their fatigue and fear from stress and reclaim their vitality so they can start making a positive impact at work and home again.
Beautiful.
Oh,
So let's just dig into why do
that
you
was
do
good.
that? Why? How'd you get into that?
what do you guys know about burnout?
Yeah. So basically, we are definitely all about fitness and being outside and nature, as you guys love to do as well. So that's a huge part of our program. But actually, this came from the sources of our own burnout experience, where we had to really readjust and change our lifestyle, change what we were doing, because we were both just kind of like hit a wall, and we're like, man, how do we get ourselves out of this? Like, this is crazy. This is weird.
I think a lot of people out there can like reflect on that and relate.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, before you move forward to the end result, what was your burnout like? Like, were you depressed? Were you coming home from work and like just binge watching Netflix? Like, what was the actual turmoil in your life that caused you to like put a break on and say, we got to do something different here?
It affected both of us differently. Ellie and I had created a manufacturing and a retail business, two different companies in the world of action sports, primarily kiteboarding, surfing, skateboarding, and it did really, really well. And just towards the end there, we made it through the recession. We made it without loans. We made it without debt. I don't know how we did that, but somehow we did it. We had to fire our entire staff. Both of us were working probably 80 to 90-hour weeks, 7 days a week. We were foregoing holidays with families. We were missing our friends. And pretty soon it started affecting Elea on a physical level. And it got really hardcore. Like, she actually blacked out and smacked her face on concrete one day. She got so fatigued she couldn't carry a cup of water from the kitchen to the couch.
Wow.
I didn't really feel the physical fatigue part of it, but what I did is to cope with it is I really turned to, alcohol, stress eating, intoxing, anything I could do, overdoing it, and even calming supplements, and just trying caffeine and just trying to keep myself going, to try and keep myself positive.
Yeah.
We just woke up one day and said, we're going to die if we don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really fascinating. I just want to make this point really quick, which is that, we felt like we were kind of living the dream, right? We had our own shop. We were outside a lot. We were active. We were eating healthy. We kind of thought we were doing all the typical things to keep stress at bay. But what we didn't realize, I think, was a lot of that stress was coming from our mindsets and the pressure that we were putting on ourselves.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of shame around feeling like burnt out. I felt like maybe I was a failure as a business owner, or, that I didn't love my business. And I had all these judgments about it. And I realized one day when a woman said to me, in order to burn out, you have to have a burning passion. And that just like felt like 100 pounds lifted off my chest, because I realized I was like, yeah, like I'm not, like I love my business and I love our customers and I love all of this. But what's happened is I have not figured out like where my boundaries are. I haven't really figured out how to hone in my energy. I'm just like this crazy bright, light that's kind of out of control. And then I just kind of burnt myself right out.
Right. Yeah. You have to be on fire first in order to burn out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was really helpful for me.
Well, what we learned after the fact is that we had put our focus on exterior goals that we thought, I mean, you've heard this, you think money's going to bring you happiness. You think accomplishing this is going to bring you happiness. And what we completely forgot to focus on is how good we felt. Mm-hmm. We didn't focus on our own health. Right. I mean, sure, we were outside. I mean, I look at the surf industry as yes, we play very hard during the day, but they also party very hard at night. So it's kind of burning a candle at both ends.
Yeah,
so right.
It was a lot of fun, but then the stress came with the recession, then the stress came with the business, and the stress came with just working too much. And we just lost focus of feeling good.
Yeah.
And then when we hit the bottom and got back up, it wasn't until we escaped all that, stopped doing all the sports that we love, and actually started running half naked outside in obstacle course races like Spartan runs. And we were like, I don't know why. This is really hard, but I feel really good.
Now,
that's where the movement part was born.
How did you get into the Spartan races? I mean, it's been something we've got. I don't know if it's down the States as well. Tough Mudder as well.
Oh, yeah, Tough Mudder. Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, what was the bridge over to that? Did you just see a flyer? Did a friend tell you about it? How'd you get into that?
It was a day in early February, and here in Charleston, South Carolina, our Februarys aren't normally that cold, but this happened to be a cold one, which had gotten down to 25 that week. And I think the high during the day was like 31, 32. So that's really cold for around here. And I was looking at a local paper, and I saw an ad for the Rugged Maniac, which is a 5K obstacle race. And I looked at LA, and we were just getting out of there was a lawsuit involved in our burnout too. So we were just getting out of a lawsuit. And I said, what do you feel like taking off most of your clothes this weekend and running through frigid cold water for 3.2 miles across the street in the woods? And she was like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Sounds
Anything's
nice.
better than what we just went through.
Yeah. I think the important point there was just like we really broke up our routine. We did something totally different outside of our norm, and that really helped shift our thinking because we put ourselves out of our element, and that was really helpful.
Yeah.
Nice.
So with Move, Think, Smile, you had already began establishing Move, Think, Smile when you arrived to the Great eCourse Adventure. So why don't we dig into where you were when you arrived at the mountain? Because I know you've had a huge, how long ago was it that you joined? Was it a year or more than a year now?
It was April of last year.
A year, yeah.
Okay, so almost a year and a half. And where were you in the business development when you arrived?
Well, we have basically I had just finished writing a book, which was basically the blueprint for the course. Yeah. But that's
convenient, right?
Yeah.
That's good to have that already kind of backed out.
But even having that, we were still kind of like, oh my gosh, like this is such a big undertaking. Like, where do we even start? Like, how do we make it make sense? And so, we were 100% at the beginning stage.
Yeah. Amazing. Now, having gotten to watch as an outsider for the last year and a half, you two really took a big bite. Like, you had a big vision, and it's been so cool to just get to witness that you did it, that you've created something that is clearly awesome and will be so much fun for your students to go through. So I'm really excited to actually see that you made it to the top and that you've done it. Now, with Move, Think, Smile, what's the premise for like the 3 different pillars in it?
Okay. So moving is kind of twofold. It is being able to make a bold move without any shred of evidence that you're going to succeed. And that really only comes with the support of other people, which is one of the reasons we joined the Great eCourse Adventure. The second part of Move is science is now showing that brain elasticity, which means a lot of us think we were born a certain way, that we were born to fail, that we were born to stress eat, or I was born fat, or I was born this or born that. And we've proven that's not true. That actually your brain has been molded to what you've learned in your environment and what you've seen growing up. And it's kind of in your subconscious. But if you actually take the time to physically get your blood flowing by moving first, you can then makes it a lot easier to think differently and kind of mold your brain to where you want it to be. And that is what we call badass. And it's all centered around, getting back to our human nature. And that is reconnecting with the earth, which is literally what people call grounding, and some little metal stakes that you can push in the ground, put around your wrist so you can recharge your negative ions. You don't need to do that. All you got to do is go outside and run around or walk around or hug a tree or, anything like that. So it's really about getting outside. And I take moving a little bit more towards I move as much as I possibly can every day until I'm tired. I'm exhausted. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Some days it's doing yoga. It makes me tired. Some day I can run 10 miles. It makes me tired. Like this weekend, we went kiteboarding for 5 hours. That made me tired. Getting a little too much sun made me tired. But in the end, what's actually happening is that the negative polarity of your cells, which is something we just discovered, because we've always known we've had a positive charge, and that's why lightning likes to strike us down. But it's been recently discovered that we have a negative side, and the only way to recharge that is with reconnecting with solar radiation and the earth, which are both negative charged.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And the main thing too, I think with Move, Think, Smile is that, at least for me, we both really wanted something super simple as a stake in the ground for someone, so that if you see an obstacle coming your way or you've got that stress that's coming on, that you have a super simple system that you can lean into. So it's, what is a bold move I can make right now? How can I think differently about this? And what can I do to smile more? And sometimes you use all three of those, and sometimes you just use one, whichever one is going to work for you in that moment. Because I know for me, there were times when I was so stressed out that I was just like, I don't feel like moving. I'm in a crappy space mentally. So what can I do to make myself laugh? So I would watch something that would induce laughter, something that would make me just, cry till I laugh, laugh until I cry. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I would notice like my entire thinking would shift. And then I could go back and look at the problem or the obstacle and, approach it in a much different way. So we really wanted 3 words that were very simple that people could return to time and time again. Because again, when you're stressed, usually your good, like, problem solving abilities kind of go out the window.
Totally. Yeah.
That's awesome. Those are just really simple tools.
Just to let you know, if you want extraordinary change in your life, Move, Think, Smile is a simple tool, but it takes work.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not easy. There's nothing, as we know, building an eCourse, there's nothing easy to it.
And one of the things that my father taught me was, things like that. It's easy to do, but it's easier to not do.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Well, this is hard to do, but the rewards are amazing.
Totally. I think anything great that we do in our lives is going to be a hell of a journey, and that's a part of it. It's like that's the story that we get to tell others once we've gotten to wherever that destination is, and the arduous journey of getting up every day and taking those next steps. It's called life.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a spectator sport.
Yeah. So what was your favorite part? What was your favorite part climbing the mountain?
What was yours?
In the beginning, just the commitment of signing up and saying, you know what? Because I've been watching, you guys. I've been watching, and I'm kind of the. There's like 4 types of buyers out there. There's a cheap buyer. There's the what are they called? The challenging buyer. Then there's the sophisticated buyer and the affluent buyer. And I'm totally the sophisticated guy. Like, I research the crap out of stuff. In fact, I research stuff so much it paralyzes me from making decisions sometimes. Like, oh my God, I just felt like everything weighs the same. Which one do I go with? And then I came across the great eCourse and I watched a master class and I was like, you know what? This makes sense. It's like, this is fun. Like, what they're doing is they're doing, they're increasing engagement. And I was tired of looking at the PDFs. I was tired of looking at, talking heads on stuff like that. And yes, some of those people and those gurus out there have some really great information, but you're absolutely right. The drop-off rate is like, you get, 3 lessons in, it's just like, you're just not encouraged to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for us, it really resonated. I mean, for me, just again, the fact that you would make me laugh in so many of the lessons, and it was like just canned enough, like just perfect, kind of combination of that. And then of course, really engaging us in so many different ways. That was, a really fun part of all of that, and to kind of watch that process unfold. I think for us too, coming from our own background of being very adventurous and also just wanting to produce something very different, not just kind of like your everyday thing. I think a lot of people who saw us in our surf, kiteboarding industry and all that kind of thought, they're going to make e-courses now? And we're like, no, we're not just going to make any e-course.
Yeah. Well, and you've done such a great job taking the principles that we figured out along the way of creating the great eCourse adventure and applying it to your own courses. Like we binge watched your whole sales page and your onboarding thing with all the videos there, and we're just like, this is great. Like this is something
you guys had so much fun, and it shows.
Yeah.
All your characters getting involved with the backgrounds, and how has the response been from the people that what your market?
So I was gonna say the people who are actually in the course now are loving it.
Yeah.
Like even we've got a British lady in there, and she's just like, I love Henry the helicopter pilot.
A little crush.
It's my latest attempt to do a British person. She's like, I don't know where in the UK he's from. I'm like, he's confused. It's okay.
Yeah. I can't quite.
He travels a lot. Yeah.
My accents are like that too.
It has been really great to see how people have really gotten connected to the characters in a way that, maybe they would never with us just being ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. So that's been really cool to see. And I think makes them excited because they're like, we want to see what The Rock is going to do next,
Right. And so how much of the course is you two in character and you two as yourselves? Is it mostly the characters? And then you do
I would say, Elea plays Commander Elea on Badass Island.
Yeah.
So I don't think we've told anybody what the theme of it is.
Yeah, let's talk about the theme and then
get into the character. Our theme is a secret training facility hidden in the South Pacific where we take charred asses and turn. Smile.com/BAI will give you just a preview video.
Right.
And actually it's considered like the long sales form for the course. We've got a couple other green screen videos that we've done with it too that have been a lot of fun.
Nice.
I think it's like minute 4 or something on that video there through like minute 8. You can see actually a full preview of
maybe I'm burnt out. I don't know, but
and getting back to the character. So Elea actually plays Commander Elea on Badass Island. And so she's technically her, but also in character.
Yeah.
Right.
I play right now about 7 different characters. My kind of introductory character is BIT, which stands for Badass Island Technology. And that's what I'm kind of known as for the island. But when people are interacting in our course, we actually message them privately and post as our characters to whatever obstacle zone they're in.
Yeah.
So on Badass Island, you've got an obstacle course. There's 14 zones. You got to conquer the obstacles, blocking your success, and to transform your burnout into badass.
Nice.
I love it. I love that you've brought in your passion for doing the obstacle courses and made that a huge part of the theme. Now, what would an example of an obstacle that somebody would have to conquer?
Well, one of my favorites I love in the beginning is cutback cliffs. And we've also tried to really use landscape to go with what the task is going to be. And that is they actually have to come in and cut their to-do list in half. But we have a very fun exercise where they actually have to come in. They've got to fill a backpack, actually physically do this at home, fill a backpack with rocks that lists everything on their to-do list. They've got to go take a hike. They've got to take pictures of it and have proof. They're going to take half the rocks out of their backpack of the things they're going to set aside for the next 90 days so that they can clear out some space to not only do our course, but to start healing from burnout and really getting themselves back on track.
Wow, nice.
Come down the mountain with half the rocks in their backpack and kind of feel what it's like to lighten their load.
I love that. I love the ritual of that. That was, we did a ceremony. I led a retreat in Peru years ago, and this was one of the rituals we were guided to do, was to find a big rock and write down whatever like burden we've been carrying and to carry it up to the highest point of the mountain. So to like really feel that weight and then to like plant it there as a ritual and to let it go, to really feel that like, I'm like so much lighter now. It's so powerful.
Nice. Yeah. Where'd you come up with these, like from your experiences? Were you just being creative together, putting your thinking caps on? And...
we were influenced by the Great eCourse Adventure, and we really liked the whole being outside in the mountain and having a trail or having a course to go up. And it was back in May. We probably watched, I think we made it through like 3 or 4 modules in the Great eCourse, and we were sitting on the back porch just trying to get some sun because we had been like inside for so long, you know, working on these ideas.
Yeah.
We went to the store, we bought a whiteboard, we got a marker, and it was like, Badass Island. We're like, oh, cool. Let's make it
that just happened.
We pulled a lot from our experiences in the obstacle course, because one of the things that you do in like a Spartan is they have this bucket carry where you like, it has to be filled with all of these rocks and you've got to carry this bucket for, so long. So we were like, how can we take some of those things that they have us do, but really tailor it to something,
like what's the emotional connection from that experience? How can that be woven into it? That's awesome. I want to flip over here to show our viewers a little bit of it, so you guys can keep chatting, and you should be able to see the screen here too. So that's Commander Elea.
Yeah, that's Commander Elea.
Yeah, and let's see, just kind of flip through.
I would love to take him on a tour. Now it's going to happen.
She's talking to Badass IT right now.
Let me turn it down a little bit.
And he's saying, I can give you a tour, but it's going to have to be a short one because Hurricane Burnout is about to hit the island.
Uh-oh. Here it comes. By the way, nice graphics. How'd you guys actually do that?
I've got a graphic design background and a technology background, so...
Nice.
A lot
of tweaking.
Right. That's part of it.
And
I was really
editing
impressed
software did you use for the videos?
Adobe Premiere Pro.
Okay, nice. That's what we're using. That's all you folks out there in green screen magic. That's what the big people use there.
There you go.
Yeah, the Ultra Key filter is crucial to getting a good green screen effect for us.
I love the helicopter.
That was Henry. That right there, that's the comfort zone.
Hold on. I'm flipping through. Oh, I can't. It's hard to go in between. There you go. Nice.
That's Henry, the helicopter pilot. He's the guy he picks you up on the mainland and transports you to Badass Island once you get your boarding pass. And then he also will take you from the comfort zone out into the different obstacle zones every time you're ready.
Yeah.
Now, just curious, for the helicopter scene where you're flying, did you find like a picture of a helicopter cockpit and then like green screen in the actual moving background, or how did you, how did you do that section here?
Okay, hold on, Mitch. Let's want to do that, Brad?
Yeah.
So this will be our official how did you do that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you do that helicopter scene here?
Yeah, tell us.
All right, so I went on and we got a subscription to, what was the
Video blocks.
Video blocks.
Yep.
Video blocks and story blocks.
Or story blocks.
And so I found I could not find for the life of me a video of somebody who was sitting in the backseat of a helicopter flying. So I found this crazy military helicopter, and I went into Photoshop and I literally cut out the windows by hand, right? And all the little parts, made a PNG file, put that into Adobe Premiere, made a layer of the layer here in the middle. I put I'm Henry, on green screen, cut him out, put him up here. So I've got a green screen here.
Nice.
I've got a kind of a transparent PNG here. Then I took just a video of a drone flying over the West Coast or flying off the West Coast.
Right, and so there's the effect.
Wow. And now, Blair, you know some things about how long it takes. How long do you figure it took you to create that whole experience there, the helicopter experience?
I love the facial expressions.
It's so good.
It really sells it. Yeah.
It took me longer it probably took me 3 to 4 hours and maybe even another day just to come up with the idea. So I was so bent on trying to find a video right? Or trying to find an image that was going to work, and trying to find that video and that image was really, really tough. Once I got it, it took me, now I've already had the film, right? I got the video, I've got Henry, and I've got the image. It took me 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. That was quick. You know, I know when you say like how bent you can get on getting that thing in the mind that you're just like, there's gotta be a way to do this. You know, that's big part of my job with a lot of the ideas that Brad comes up with. Like, hey, can we like teach this next course in space? Like on a spaceship, right? Like you can do that. It's like, oh, okay, here we go.
We found that really there was the time it took us just to prep, like to find the videos and the images and the setup and everything. We turned our garage into a full green screen studio. All the setup time it does take a lot of time just to get that ready. But once we had that in place, it felt like the rest went a little bit faster. Yeah. And especially too, once we got our rhythm down on how we wanted the feel of the videos to be, and Adam really had a template for the start of each video and the end. So once we kind of got all that in place, it felt like, okay.
Yeah, you guys did such a good job. Like I really enjoyed watching it, and your production value. I can tell that you've had some experience playing with this stuff and definitely took the time on Google, like how do you do this, you know, like and just taking the time and having the eye for detail that comes across. And so I just as a producer myself, like I tip my hat, like, you know, that was well done, and I appreciated it. Yeah.
Thank you.
I would say you know what took me the longest was I don't know if you guys actually went into Badass Island yet, but at the beginning of every video, there is a kind of like a digital typing.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Dude, that took me like 2 or 3 days.
Did you do that like letter by letter?
How to create, well, no, I actually went into After Effects and I created a template.
Nice.
And then imported it in. So now it's really fast to do.
Yeah.
But that's all I wanted. I just want some typing going across the page that looked like a computer. Kind of like,
it's amazing, right? Just we're pushing the limits, you know, and wanting to bring Hollywood into our e-courses without necessarily having all those people who know how to do that. And that's a big thing. Like as we grow, that's something I'm dreaming into. Is like I just want an After Effects specialist on staff.
Yeah,
so
right?
I don't have to spend like an entire day trying to just make text go across the screen.
Yes.
Yeah. We can share. How's that sound? We'll find them. We can share for the next course.
We need an After Effects.
Keep popping in. I'm like, Adam, are you done with that text yet? Are you done with that? He's like, no.
Yeah. Leave me alone.
Now, what was for the two of you? I mean, your couple, your business partners, you're co-writing and co-producing this entire course. What would you say the most, as a team, what was the most challenging hurdle you two had to get through as a team?
Good question.
That's a good one. I think really struggling with getting that fine line between having a script, but then also just letting something sort of morph in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And all the restarts and starting and really kind of having to give each other feedback on like, hey, you were like doing that weird thing with your face again. Or
your upper lip was shaking. Yeah, like
that was pretty tough. You know, we kind of had to like figure out how each other worked on camera because we both kind of had the jitters at first. And also we hadn't really seen each other in these roles before. So that was kind of different. We were like way out of our...
Did you have any too much laughter breaks? Like, okay, we need to take 5. This character is cracking me up. Like,
I mean, that was tough. I think, you know, the thing that we're still battling this right now is fear.
Yeah.
You know, it's like fear. It's like, are we doing the right thing? Fear, are people going to like this?
Yeah.
You know, fear, you know, are we charging the right amount? Fear of, I would tell you what, on June 1st, when we launched this thing, you know, for the first 6 weeks, it was a shit show. And we totally sold it the wrong way. We invested $10,000. And when you do something like that and it doesn't work the way you hoped it did, which it never does the first time you do it, and you know it's never going to do that.
That's just part of the learning experience, right? But we're so attached to it, like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
But when it happens, you still freak out.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it was that trying to keep your mindset into, okay, what did not happen was we just did not throw $10,000 into the toilet. What did just happen is we just got $50,000 of research because we just talked to 45 people one-on-one on the phone.
Yeah, nice.
That's the think different part.
That's the think different part. Yeah.
Nice.
And so based off that, based off of our trying to sell, look how cool our course is, which people are like, yeah, it looks really cool, but they don't really care about that.
Right.
They really care more about they care more about transformation than they do information.
Yeah.
Well,
That's such a key. That's such a key.
Yeah. And we really struggled too, I think, because, we were sort of looking at a lot of other things out there where they're saying, okay, we're going to teach you how to make 10 grand next month, or you're going to lose 10 pounds, or you're, very specific things. And we're really looking at this kind of like whole life transformation with burnout on a topic that people often don't even really realize that they're burnout until some major physical thing goes on. And so we've really been battling the thing of how do we really quantify this for people. And we really had a huge shift in that when we started looking at the cost of stress and really mapping that out for people, and then saying the cost of our course. And suddenly that started to bridge the gap of
Nice.
the reason why they would even want to invest in this. Because again, it's not like, oh, spend, $5,000 with us and your business is going to churn out 20 grand, right? So we had to really adjust our mindset, and for the customer as well, to figure out why is it important for them and how it is going to pay them back.
Yeah. So what is your angle with that now that you're on the other side of that $50,000 lesson?
Yeah, right. Well, that was the value.
Yeah, it was 10 grand.
It was a $10,000 lesson. When we actually started focusing more on, okay, one, we got laser focused and crystal clear on what exactly it is we do. So at first we kind of started, you can go to our Facebook page, it's Move Think Smile. There's a post on there. I think the ad is still active. And the headline is How to Beat Stress Like a Badass. And we found out that was really just too broad. And then we started saying work burnout, and that was really too broad. And what it is, our experience is we were dealing with fatigue. Me, it was mental fatigue. Elea was physical and mental fatigue. And we were just in a place where like, this is not where we wanted to be. This is not what we wanted, but we didn't know how to get out of it. So that's where we're like, okay, we need to refine our elevator pitch and then our headlines and rewrite our ads. Yeah. And we're actually rewriting an ad right now and creating a webinar or a masterclass, about 45-minute masterclass, that's really going to focus in on the 6 strategies to make bold moves to change your life, to beat stress and get out of the fatigue and start getting the energy, confidence, and focus that you want to start taking care of yourself so you can start taking care of others.
Yeah. Nice.
And I wanted to share with people out there who are selling maybe something that this kind of transformation, something like this is. Here's a prime example of the costs that I was talking about. I spoke to a woman who we were able to really nail down, okay, my stress relief is overspending. And she calculated that she's probably spending anywhere between 10 to 20 grand a year that she doesn't need to be spending because she's using that as her stress relief.
Wow.
And she also realized that she's probably wasting between 2 to 3 hours a day. So we started adding that up, and over a year, that's about, 780 hours of the year. And then she also wasn't having the experiences that she wanted to have with her kids because she was really stressed out. She gets home from work, she's too tired. So she's like, I really want to be doing something with my kids, like at least 1 to 2 times a week, but I'm not. So then we added that up over the year. And I think that sounds really simple, but for whatever reason, I wasn't thinking at it from that perspective. And when I started to make that shift, it really helped say, okay, yeah. So if you spend, a couple $1,000s with us and we start, taking money off that $10,000 number that you're blowing on overspending because of stress, this is absolutely going to be a financial, win-win for you.
Yeah, it's an investment. And that's what's really worked for us is you calculate, if let's say you change your life and you make that career decision, either to get a promotion or change jobs, and all of a sudden you're making $250 more a week. That's $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year you're leaving on the table because you're stuck where you are due to fear of making the wrong decision. Yeah. And you don't have the confidence to do it or the support to get there.
Yeah.
Or those hours.
Yeah.
And with that lady, we try and put like how much is an hour of your time worth? How much is an hour of me time really worth to you? $10? Those people are like, hell no, it's worth more than that. You know?
Yeah.
We'd like to say it's worth at least $100 an hour.
And we really want to create next like a stress calculator because we really realized we had to put a financial number on it somehow for people.
Right.
But that was really important because burnout can be very, well, amoebus, right? And we needed a way for people to really quantify it in their heads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially when they're in that burnout space already, they're just not thinking the same and they have to come across in a different way.
Yeah, that could be great. Like, how much are you spending on alcohol, drugs, meals out because you can't cook for yourself?
Just different forms of entertainment. That adds up a lot.
Adds up so much.
Yeah.
The stress calculator. I love it. That is great.
Yeah.
That's in the works.
Now, I know you've got kind of two models, right? You've got the premium model where they get a lot of one-on-one support. And then is there another model where they kind of, like the Great eCourse Adventure, you just go through it at your own pace? Or how have you set it up?
Yeah.
We originally were going to have what we call an economy boarding pass and a first class boarding pass.
Yeah.
And we started looking at it. And we know from a fact that if we're going to actually have successful clients, two things have got to happen. We only want to let people into the program who we are fairly certain are going to succeed.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that they get there and that when you're coming from a place of fatigue and burnout, you have to have support.
Yeah.
You do. You have to have the one-on-one interaction. The self-paced stuff just doesn't work. It'll help you. It might do some temporary stuff, even if we were to just release our course on their own. But without the interaction with the other people in the system, it's just not going to work. So what we've done is we've gotten rid of the economy. We have a first class boarding pass, and then I think we're going to introduce a private jet, which is going to be just a load of one-on-one time with Elea and myself.
Nice. Yeah, we really realized, at least for our market and the people, with burnout and anxiety and all of this stuff going on, that, we really just, in order to set them up for success, we're forcing them to engage with us at that high level, to commit at that high level. And otherwise, because again, we're dealing with insanely busy people, they're just going to keep getting swept away, right? Until, of course, something really major happens with their health. And unfortunately, a lot of times, that's when we get them. But we try to really, promote people being able to be aware and on top of those symptoms, because it can go downhill really fast.
Yeah, for sure.
What's interesting is another mindset shift we had for us was on our targeting. And before we didn't realize it then, but we're actually targeting people who would consider themselves losers who wanted to start winning. When in fact, our real target are winners who want to start winning again.
Aha, that's a big shift.
So their game's kind of slipped because they're burnt out and they're tired and they're not able to perform at the same level they once did.
Yeah.
Right. So they've got to
they're very driven.
Right. They're very driven. They've got an inner badass in them. They just covered up with a bunch of BS or what we call burnout stuff.
Yeah. Right, which goes back to what one of the earlier things we said was that to burn out, you have to have been on fire in the first place.
Yeah.
That's a huge shift of mindset of how you come across in your marketing. So, like you said, you're rewriting that sort of stuff. Are you going to be going into your eCourse and doing anything different too? And as this starts to shift, sometimes the way we came across, like how far are you going to go to shift your stuff?
We're actually feeling really confident that most of what we created already, really is in alignment with that.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's been our big thing is just really realizing this whole process of marketing. It's a whole different story, right? You spend all this time creating the course, but then of course we realized and then it's a whole nother mountain, with the marketing piece after.
Yeah.
And, and Brad, you brought a lot of that into the course as well, but even still, like, you've got to go out there and just like test this thing with the masses.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to learn your lessons.
Yeah.
Right. We can only teach so much, but really it comes down to that's your specific industry, your specific market. It's going to be like,
it's such a word game as we're really getting into Facebook ads right now.
Word game.
It's such a word game. I mean, people are going to resonate with different words, and everybody has different meanings for the same word. It's tricky. It's challenging to like, really, unless you already have an established audience that's just waiting for everything you create. If you're looking for new people to come find your new creation, it just takes time and a lot of testing. And the way we're going with the Facebook ad stuff is it's all about micro testing. So you're not spending a lot of money. You're just looking for a certain amount of impressions for small amounts of money, so you can start to formulate what words are actually people gravitating to, and then start to add in images. It's a whole crazy science that anyone who resisted it for so many years.
It's a whole nother area, which is it's fascinating. But
and anybody out there doing Facebook ads, the biggest tip I learned is one campaign, one ad set, one ad, and don't touch it and don't look at it for at least 14 days. Let it do its thing. Because if you do what I did, you're going to freak out every 6 hours when you go and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, people were looking at it. Now they're not looking at it. What's happening now? I don't go, what's going on? What's going on? Like, freak out.
Yeah, I have a little bit of that compulsive nature in me as well, when I'm like, oh, they doing it? They do it? Refresh.
Right, yeah.
It's terrible. I need to go read a book or walk in nature or something.
I gotta get away from this computer for sure. So what's next? Like you said, you've got a masterclass coming up. You're thinking of putting that together. What kind of theme is that going to have? What's that going to look like?
Yeah, so really that's actually going to be a webinar that we're recreating, so that as another sort of marketing piece to bring people in to be able to check us out, to sit down, get some really valuable information about what stress really is costing them, really try to get them to where they understand what it is that they're getting into before they hop on a call with us. Because our big thing is we do the webinar, we do the ad, and then they book a call with us. So then we can really spend some time with them figuring out where they are, what their blocks are, kind of where it is that they want to go. So we get to be a really big part of the process as well on figuring out whether they would even get what they need out of our course. And it's funny because there's been several people on the phone where I'm like, I don't think our course is for you. And it's interesting because when I do that, all of a sudden they're like, but wait,
I want in.
What do you mean you're not trying to take my money?
It's
hilarious.
Crazy.
But then sometimes, you tell them the cost, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, I'm kind of too busy for that, or whatever it might be. So it's really interesting too, because you're dealing with a lot of dynamics with people on the phone and that entire coaching, but also a selling process. And that's been a huge get out of my own comfort zone in that aspect of really serving people as best as I can, but also, providing the sales process and making sure that I'm in integrity during that entire time.
Yeah. That's great. Nice.
So the master
many
class
lessons. It's absolutely amazing. People sign up to create a course, but there's so many other elements that go in it. You're creating a production company, you're creating a marketing business, you're creating like an actual, a business with all of the different systems that have to be in place to run it. You're creating like, lots of copywriting. There's so many things that go into doing what we're all doing here, which is, it's wonderful to see you two take your big crazy idea of Badass Island and actually bring it to fruition. It's very fulfilling for us. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Are there any plans to do like an Island Badass actual live retreat?
Yes. That'll be down the road a little bit, but yes, we've had a lot of people. They're like, so when can we go like for real?
Right.
Yeah.
So check this out. When we had that video that you guys were showing, as kind of like our main, when people would opt in, that would be the video they saw. Elliot actually had people calling her, asking her about taking a trip to Badass Island.
Nice. Do you know what island that actually is?
Yes, it's Usal Island in Indonesia.
Okay.
All right, Badass Island it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, given how much work it took the two of you, you've recovered from your own burnout. You've just built this behemoth-sized e-course. You did what we tell people not to do, which is you created a great e-course adventure yourselves. You spent, a year and a half producing it and creating your book. Were you, just before I ask my question, were you also running your businesses while doing this still? Or have the businesses been set to the side?
Well, we really dedicated 100% of our time to just knocking this out. I mean, I still had a few coaching clients here and there, but once the book was done and published, we went really just 100% into let's get this course knocked out.
Good for you. Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
So basically, everybody's got their story. We have financed the past 3 years through her coaching clients, my consulting clients with technology and business, and Airbnb.
Nice. Go Airbnb. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, that's whatever. Sometimes, you just got to just find every way that you can to make it work. And that's the only way I could see how you could possibly create what you did in the year and a half-ish, that you've done, or just even under that. And just to go full on, totally.
So what would your advice be for other adventurers coming up the mountain behind you that have a big vision, so that they don't burn out on the journey of making their e-courses?
Yeah.
I would say do a dry test first.
Yeah.
And that is get your idea, kind of outline your course, go ahead and create your ad, stick it on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever you think your audience is, have an opt-in page, and see if people are interested, and see what happens, and do a dry test. That $500 or $600 that you spend there might save you $10,000, down the road.
That's good advice.
You just and it'll also help you give you the research to mold your course to what it is they want.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Product research.
And Elea, any advice on top of that?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the biggest thing for me when I started thinking about it was, we sort of played with going back and forth with doing a lot of filming at one time, and then we'd take a long break, and then we kind of said, oh, well, maybe we'll just try and film one module a week, and we'll do it that way. And what I really realized was that it was more efficient for us to just say, okay, we're going to block off these 3 or 4 days to do a lot of filming, because it takes a lot of just energy and emotional energy to get yourself into these characters and to get yourself into the rhythm of filming and the rhythm of what you want to do. And that it's easier to try to chunk off larger pieces than to maybe just say, okay, I'm going to really try to film this an hour after work, and I'm going to try to do this little piece. For me personally, that felt really disorienting because it took me too long to get to the place where I needed to be. And so I think the important thing with burnout is you can push hard for a short period of time, but then you need to take a break, and then push hard and then take a break.
That's definitely how I work as well. Training for professional golf, running this business, and having a family life, I go in and out with burnout, where some days my energy's pretty low, and for me it's I'll go hard for a little period of time, and then I have to let some gas off and recover by getting more than 6 hours of sleep a night, and then get back into it. But the rhythm thing is really important. And you also said it without saying it, but scheduling it in, blocking off the time to actually dedicate to this course, otherwise it never gets done.
Absolutely, because stuff will always come in and take up that space, and so that was really important. And of course, just really celebrating a lot of the wins along the way, and not being so focused on the end goal that got really overwhelming. So it's just okay, what's just the next thing we got to shoot? What's just the next piece? Taking it, chunk at a time.
What have your favorite parts been for each of you out of the entire process? Like, what has been your favorite part to dig into? Was it script writing or copywriting or the editing? Like, which elements?
What's your favorite?
What scared me the most in the beginning was actually characters.
Yeah.
I've never really acted before. But once I got into the characters and I really figured out what their accents were going to be, who their personalities were, and I just had to dig deep. It's like, I've got some pretty close people in my life that are quite lively characters. And so I just started mimicking them.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, I would take like a Hollywood something and then mimic with them. I'm like, okay, I know enough rednecks and crazy surf people to like make something cool happen.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
It definitely shows. Yeah, it definitely shows.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think for me, like my favorite parts were the whiteboard moments when we were just like, you know, drawing out the island and just like really having this chance to be super creative and in my imagination, really visualizing and letting the island come to life.
Yeah.
And then definitely actually just filming, because it just kind of felt like, okay, we're finally like making this tangible, and that just felt really, really good.
Yeah, start fleshing it together.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The favorite part, I would say the absolute favorite, is when you render your video, right? And you're like, okay, please don't take 18 hours. It's the first thing that's going through your head.
Yeah.
I got 24 gig of RAM. Let's make this happen. And the video comes out and you look at it and you know you've done a good job when you laugh. Like, it's better than I thought it was going to be.
Totally.
That really makes me happy. And hopefully it makes somebody else happy too, because it makes me feel really good.
Yeah. Well, then it will. It absolutely will. I mean, we look at the Great eCourse Adventure and similar fears, you know, are people going to think we're nuts, but like we've got over 300 active members right now. Like, people are clearly digging it. So
Yeah.
people are going to love what you've created, and they're going to thank you for making it as special as what you did. And it's beautiful, those going from the whiteboard inspiration moments to actually seeing the final video product is just that's the journey.
Yeah.
What you're gonna really like too is like in a year or even 2 years after doing it, and then going back after not watching it for a while, it gets so much better.
Yeah. It's so true.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy going back, and so we've been revamping the GEA and going through some of those early parts and lessons, and it's just like, I totally forgot about that. Oh man, that's so good.
Yeah. And I think the other really cool byproduct was just really getting clear about how we could help people. And of course, I think it also just really built our confidence as far as being experts in the field, and like really having taken the time to come up with creative ways to deliver the material and to really think about the learner. And I think that really helped boost our confidence, because we were just like in the material so much. And I think that was really an important little piece that I didn't quite foresee was going to be such a bonus.
Yeah.
Without wanting to day drink.
Yeah.
Guys,
well done. Well done. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your journey. We'll have all sorts of links to all the pages that you sent us. Do you have any final words of advice for the adventurers who are coming up the mountain behind you?
I do.
Okay, you go first.
So everybody remember, life is a course in obstacles. And whether you're building your own course or you're dealing with a little bit of burnout, always remember, can you see this?
Yeah.
What's it say, guys?
May
the course
the course be with
there it is.
you.
May the course be with you. Ha, hilarious.
Oh, beautiful.
Clever, man.
Yeah. That's
I love
May the
it.
course be with you.
We might have to reuse that from here on in.
I want to get Move Think Smile tattooed on my forearm or something like that. Let's get tattoos. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. It's been such a pleasure. I look forward to having you on the show, you know, in maybe a couple months to see how things are going and progressing and what you're constantly learning.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like being parents. It's nice to connect. And we've got a couple of young e-courses that would like to play and for us to learn from each other. It's brilliant. That's part of the community vibes.
And on top of that, I want to thank you both. You've been such active participants in the community. You've really helped to shape the experience for other community members and sharing all of the tools and the resources that you found, and coming on and doing like a live stream green screen demo when you figured out how to do that for Facebook Live. Like, you've been such wonderful assets for us as the community leaders and for all the other members in the community. You really demonstrated the type of people that we want to have active. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
For all the inspiration.
and just so you know, the way we found you, Brad, is the kind of live interview you did with Chris from Lifter last fall.
Oh, very, very cool.
Nice.
That's beautiful. And I would love to, I mean, it's definitely on my bucket list to do, you know, the obstacle courses that you guys do in real life. And so if we're ever in the same area, let's team up.
Yeah, we're just going to get ourselves pumped up this winter.
Yeah, give us the winter to beef up a little bit.
Just get out there and do one. Here's the first thing that's going to happen. It's going to scare the crap out of you because you're like, why did I just sign up for that? Yeah. You're going to walk up to the starting line and you're going to look around and you're going to go, I'm not the worst shape here.
I hope that happens.
No. You know what? And here's how you know, because the biggest sponsor for Spartan is the Biggest Loser.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah. There's always going to be someone more fit than you, and there's always going to be someone less fit than you. So you just
have fun.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully, get outside and
thanks for having us on.
Yeah. Pleasure.
Enjoy.
And
Cool.
good luck with the next steps.
Cheers.
All right. See ya.
Right.
Awesome. So fun.
That was so much
we
fun.
already took care of our how did you do that section of the show. So like, we don't really have much left to do other than say that was an awesome conversation. It's beautiful to get to see members get to Launch Summit.
I know there's not many Launch Summit, like the Launch Summit Club is not huge.
Not yet. But it's getting bigger. Just one.
I kind of wanted. Actually, that reminds me. I wanted to ask them how they enjoyed Launch Summit, because we have a very special thing at the very top that the grand finale.
Yeah.
We took a lot of time. I taught Brad how to sing. There was some dancing involved.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
You know. Well, yeah.
I mean, we wanted to create an epic finale for all of the people that actually get to the top and launch their courses. It just felt really important that
After
you know, it's
that
not like a
journey.
wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
thanks for coming out, guys. Enjoy your course. Bye.
It took us almost a week just to create the Launch Summit video.
Alone.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah. Whereas all the others, you know, is we'd spend a week on a checkpoint, but that one video was a week.
Yeah, we did a lot of takes to get it right.
So
But it was worth it, and now it's there, you know, and
it's motivation for all of you out there. And so, as you've witnessed today, the new format for the show, we're going to be bringing more eCourse adventurers on to talk about their journey to Launch Summit, what they're working on, because there's actually real people in this course building awesome courses, and we want to get to know you, and we want you all to get to know each other, to be inspired as we climb together.
Yeah, we're all professionals in one way or another. Yeah, and that's what's beautiful is being able to come together as that community and lift each other up. You know, just because we're sitting in these seats right now doesn't mean like I learned so much from Adam and Elea, you know, of their process and just what they're witnessing. They're bringing a lot of great points to the table, and it's the thing, 'cause we're just all in it together.
Yeah,
I love it. Absolutely love it.
So if you're not in the great eCourseadventure.com, you can sign up for a free 14-day trial, and it's only $35 a month as of the date that we're filming this right now.
Yeah,
might go up in the future.
Subject to change.
But get in, try it out. I mean, create the greatest eCourse you can possibly imagine, because if you're going to create courses, what else are you going to do?
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, what else?
So that's it. We'll see you next Tuesday at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. See you then.
Later, folks.